So Twitter CFO Ned Siegel says buying crypto assets doesn't make sense right now and cited the volatility of crypto assets as one of the reasons. He said the company prefers to hold less volatile assets such as securities. So that really does tie into the price taking this week. But I don't know how to feel about this story because Jack Dorsey is such a proponent of crypto, and Square holds crypto on their balance sheet. So, Will, I'm gonna knock this down to you. What do you make of this comment?
So I saw one tweet that has informed my entire opinion, as it typically goes, right? And it said, Jack is obviously in control of both Twitter and Square. Square has Bitcoin on its books, but Twitter does not. So what is going on there? Like, what's up with the cognitive dissonance between those two things? And that's probably far too simplistic. Like, it makes Square as a bank. Twitter is not a bank. And Twitter probably doesn't need to have that sort of correlation with the cryptocurrency markets. It needs to have like its own separate books. I think we read into these things way too much. And I also wonder if like the storyline has moved on. I think, Zach, you brought this up like maybe a month or two ago. Like, this leg of the bull market, this recovery into the 60K territory, it has not been built on the Teslas of the world and the mass mutuals of the world buying Bitcoin. It hasn't been built on that at all. It's all been built on retail. And so I don't know if people would care if Twitter is purchasing it for their books, because that was really January's news and we've kind of moved on from it. Amy, I'll throw it to you though.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, Jen, you brought up Jack Dorsey, and he's very careful to very much separate his Twitter life and his Square life. If he's at a conference representing like Bitcoin stuff, he will not mention Twitter. You're not allowed to mention Twitter. You will only mention Square. Like, it's a very segmented situation he has. And clearly, I mean, he's the person who's putting that momentum behind Square and all of the crypto stuff. And Twitter obviously is a different board and a different CFO, and they're going to have their own politics in-house there. Also, I mean, it's not necessarily, I mean, I to be honest, I agree. I agree with them. It's not in every company's best interest to suddenly become a proxy stock for Bitcoin or to open up their portfolio to the risks associated with Bitcoin. Obviously, I love risk. I think that Bitcoin is a really great bet, but obviously different companies have to assess their own portfolio and how they want to safeguard their wealth and make decisions that are suitable to them. And Twitter has said, listen, it's too volatile. This is not right for us. And I don't think that that's the wrong decision at all. I wonder whether that is going to put a dampener on some of their other crypto momentum. So, you know, the Lightning integration, all of that stuff. In the middle of a bull run, you're just like, yeah, let's add all of these things. And now we're seeing a little bit of a downturn in market. We're seeing the CFO saying, oh, we're not going to take the plunge here. But you know, it seems that as CFO, maybe he's just making smart decisions in terms of their actual holdings, and the innovation side will continue to flourish. We'll have to watch and see what happens there. But Jen, I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Naomi. I mean, it makes sense. It's just a little deflating to hear. There's always such positive crypto news coming from Twitter. I believe they hired a crypto team. They're working on this decentralized social play. You know, Jack Dorsey teamed up with Jay-Z for the Bitcoin fund. So it's a little deflating, but it makes total sense. One of the reasons in the article that the CFO pointed to was the lack of clarity around accounting rules for holding crypto on a balance sheet. And I wonder if we will get more clarity on that in the future, or if Zach has some.
Sure, I know accounting rules. I'm definitely an accountant. I was just going to say that it's funny because, you know, Square published like a white paper for like how to hold Bitcoin as a treasury asset. So they could just go knock on the other door of their neighboring office and say, hey, can you send me that white paper that you guys put out about how corporations can hold an account for Bitcoin? So there is some information out there, but hey, you know, it doesn't make sense for everyone, and that's totally fine. Maybe he's waiting for the dip. Maybe he's just a savvy Bitcoin investor, and he's like, this is overbought. I need this to go lower before we get Twitter involved here. So who knows? Interesting to see if like any corporate treasuries like ape into Bitcoin anytime soon, because you're right, we haven't seen this in a while. But you know, also it is what it is. So yeah, back to you, Jen. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't really have anything else on this story. So, I mean, we could go
Twitter's
back
cool.
to the
I mean,
Constitution
Twitter's a
DAO.
good,
Let's go back to
Twitter's a
Constitution
good
DAO.
service.
Let's go back to the
Constitution
Constitution
DAO.
DAO for one
Are
whole
they buying
minute.
Bitcoin?
Well, I was just going to
Are
make a
they?
comment
No.
from the chat. So we actually have a prediction here about
Ooh.
what the first spot ETF is going to be. So I want to put it on the record so that we can, where is it? So that we can see if this actually goes through. All right. So Dan Crowell in the YouTube comment says Grayscale will win the spot ETF in July 2022. If you have another prediction, add them to the comments there. We'll be checking that out. Dan Crowell.
Wait, was that July?
Prediction.
Did you say July? July 2022? Was that the date?
Yeah, July 2022. That's the prediction.
Look at all these comments in the chat. Naomi, you really are the spokesperson for our fans on YouTube. When you're not here, we just ignore them. We're so sorry, everyone on YouTube.
There are lots of people in there who are like, I'm tuning into this Bitcoin show to tell you guys how much Bitcoin isn't a thing and how you're all really dumb. And I'm always like, okay, maybe, just listen and watch. And also your spelling is incorrect. It kind of bothers me. But, otherwise the YouTube chat is always pretty fun. You guys should get on that. Like, we have some regulars who are tuning in every show, and it's wonderful to see them each time. So yeah, awesome having you here, guys. Thank you for watching.
We love the chat. Desk drops. This is a fake desk drop. Anybody who remembers the desk? Is there any desk piranhas in the chat? Remember that? That was so sweet.
Have we got any?
Let's see.
Old school joke.